Hi there. So this is my 2019 Axe Cordwood Challenge Rick, and I just completed it. So I'm just making a quick video to document it. This was the axe I used for 99% of it. And you can see the rick starts here, and this section is it's 10 feet long and it's about 3 feet tall. And then we have another section back here, which is where I just finished off, which is about another 4 feet by 3 feet. So that's a total of, like, frontage wise, it's like 42 square feet, which is I think 10 square feet larger than the Feller's rick is supposed to be. So there you go, Ben. Yeah, so it's all white ash. It's kind of a shame, but the emerald ash borer is here now, and so all the white ash in the area will almost certainly be dead in the next, coming decade or so. So I've just been trying to salvage all the ash that I have, and sort of the small diameter stuff I'm cutting for firewood, and I'm hoping I can get the really big trees, like some of the ones back in there, and then I have quite a few further south along the creek that are quite large, and I'm hoping that I can afford to get those milled up, and I'm gonna try and make some flooring out of them, I hope. That's been a dream of mine for a while, almost for 5 years, since I realized that the borer was not too far away, and we would lose these ash trees. And they don't, by all accounts, sir, the wood does not last standing dead for any period at all. It starts to rot very quickly. So I'm hoping that I can do that this year. But all the small trees I'm trying to salvage as firewood as much as I can. So, and this is the time of year when I have time to get in the woods and chop. So you can see I'm actually thinking I'm going to keep going because I'm in the zone right now. So I'm going to do basically just make a box. I'm going to come back this way from that end and then join up with this here. So yeah, so if you're watching this on my YouTube channel and you're into axe content, I would say don't subscribe to this channel, by the way. I'm not probably going to make very many more axe videos of any sort, and I don't actually care for axe culture and the axe community. And I don't want to turn this video into a rant, but I would like to say, in my experience, and I've chopped a lot and I've hewn a lot at this point, and I own quite a few axes. The axe that you have, that you use, it doesn't really matter, what kind of axe it is. It doesn't matter what kind of pattern the axe is, and really none of that matters. And 90% of the axe related content on YouTube and on the forums and stuff is all talking about the axe junkies, talking about the axe as like a fetish object. And I have no patience for that. And I just really feel like there's way too much focus on gear, especially in like the knife community and the bushcraft community and the axe community, really, and people want to just talk about, oh, look at all my axes, and aren't these axes cool, or look at all my knives, and blah 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 blah. And it's, to me, I wish like the axe community was more like, the hand tool woodworking community, where they really like their tools, they like to talk about their tools, but the main focus is on what they do with the tools, and to me that is severely lacking in the axe community. And I give a lot of propers to Ben and to Steven especially, you know, and guys like Todd at Survival Sherpa who, you know, put most of their energy into content where they're talking about how do you use the axe instead of, I mean, I hate axe reviews and like videos where guys are like ruining perfectly good axe heads, you know, by like taking angle grinders to them and making them mirror polished and all of that crap. But I don't want to turn this into a rant, but like I'm just sick of that, you know, and like on my axe related videos, the quality of the engagement from people is, in my opinion, really low. And I'm just tired of stupid comments from people who just clearly don't know what they're talking about, you know. And I'm not interested in talking about axes. I'm interested in talking about what can you do with an axe, you know. And there's just not enough people that are interested in that conversation for me to want to stay involved. I'm going to keep using my axes and making stuff, and if I make something cool, I'll, you know, probably make a video about it if I feel like it, but I'm not gonna, I'm tired of you know, I'm trying to think about how I can say this. You know, to look at this axe is the kind of axe that I like to use. It's kind of a jersey pattern. It's got a little bit of a lug here, but it's, you know, a fairly typical American style axe. I got this at a garage sale. I think I paid a couple of bucks for it. There was a broken off handle stub in it, and the axe was essentially, I mean, it was very rusty, but it was essentially brand new. Like, I think someone had bought this axe and had used it just a little bit and the handle had broken, and then they just stuck it in their shed or their garage or something. And it had actually like a plum style permabond setup where the handle was epoxied into the top, and so I think that maybe stopped them from even trying to rehang it, you know, because it was epoxied in. So I had to drill that out, and then I burnt out the rest of the epoxy, and then I hung it on this handle. And you can see, I think, if I can get the light angle right, sorry, there's kind of a weird, almost it looks like a parting line on the underside and in a few places on the top of the axe. But I mean, it almost looks like this axe was cast, but I don't think anyone ever did that. So I think that's just really sloppy drop forging, you know, and then they didn't bother to grind it off. And you can also see maybe the top is like not square, so it was ground completely unevenly. So they were just smacking this axe out, you know. The factory that made this was not taking much, you know. You can see it's not got the it's a flat cheeked modern style. This was a cheap axe when the first person bought it, and then I got it for like $2 at a garage sale. And then this was just a handle at one of the box stores. Whenever I go to a box store, I check the handles, and usually 1 time out of 3 there's a decent one. And if I feel like it, I'll buy it. Not every time, because like I have more axes than I need already, you know. But like, so I probably have like less than $20 in this axe in material costs, you know. And then, so this is not remotely a Grand Force Brooks, but you can do all kinds of good work with it, you know. And so really what's key, I think, is, and why I think the Cordwood Challenge is a good idea, is it helps you develop your skills with your axe, you know, accurately hitting where you're aiming, consistently, time and again, bucking over and over and over until you've got some skills, you know, that you can then translate to doing things like hewing. So I do think I am going to make a hewing video and, you know, participate in the hewing part of the Cordwood Challenge this year, because I think that's kind of a cool idea. And so I'll do that. I actually have a white pine that fell over a little bit further to the northwest here. The bank of the creek undercut it and it fell over, and so there's actually quite a few lengths of nice white pine that I can hew into a couple of timbers. So that might be fun. But anyway, if I do make more, make this rick larger, maybe I'll send Ben a picture, but I'm not actually planning on making another video about the Cordwood Challenge this year. Because I met the requirements here. I'm going to keep going, but I don't really want to talk about chopping wood anymore. So yeah, thanks a lot to Steven for starting the challenge. I think the challenge is really worth doing if you're interested in working with your axe instead of just talking about your axe. You know, I'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot for watching.